All right, in this video, what I want to do is a quick little review of solving exponential equations. Now, there's many different types of exponential equations, so this video is going to encompass a lot of different examples because I want to give you a good variety. So therefore, no matter what type of equation you are provided with, maybe on a test, on a quiz, or in your homework, you have a guide that you can refer to and follow the exact same steps that I am applying. So let's kind of go through these examples. I might need to go ahead and rearrange because it's going to be a lot. But the first one, I want to make sure this is a quick review. So if I have 2 raised to the x is equal to 16. Now, this one might be very simple for us to be able to answer inside our head. 2 raised to what number is going to equal x? Some people have this already done. They got the answer. That's great. However, I always like to revert back to the one-to-one property just to make sure, because sometimes when we get into a little bit more difficult, it's important to remember, oh yeah, I can always use that one-to-one property. So 2 raised to the 4th power is equal to 16. So I know the answer is going to be 4. However, it's also important when you have an exponential equation and you have bases that are different, that are not the same, always try to see if you can get them to be the same base, because if you can, then you can use the one-to-one property to help you go ahead and solve. So I can take a 2 to the x and I can rewrite a 16 as, can I rewrite 16 as the same base as 2? And yes, that'd be 2 to the 4th power. Now, applying my one-to-one property, you can see that x is going to equal to 4. Fairly basic equation. You might have been able to do this in your head, but I wanted to show this the one-to-one property because in this next example, that's where it becomes a lot more important. Okay, so now in this one, you probably can't guess x on the top of your head. Maybe if you're a math savant, maybe you can. But in this example, again, I want to work to that same solution. I want to see, can I get both sides of the equation to have the same base, right? 5 raised to the 2 minus x is equal to 5 raised to something. Well, first thing I recognize is I don't want to deal with fractions, right? So to go ahead and rewrite a fraction, I know I can use my negative powers. Okay? So now I got them as a base, as an exponent equal to an exponent. I just want to see, can I get them to have the same base? So therefore, then I can use that one-to-one property we used up here. Well, there's nothing really else I can do with 5 as the base, but I know I can rewrite 25 as a 5 squared. Then now I have that relationship going on. So I have 5 equals a 2 minus x equals a 5 squared raised to that negative 1st power. Now, again, you can multiply those to 2 times -1 is -2. But in this case, you can see I have an equation or an exponent equal to another exponent with the same bases. Therefore, I can apply the one-to-one property stating that my 2 powers are now going to be equal to each other. Now I can just use some inverse operations to go ahead and solve. Negative x equals a -4, divide by -1, divide by -1. X is equal to a positive 4. Now, this was all nice and easy. It was all fancy when I know I can always look for the one-to-one property. But a lot of times, ladies and gentlemen, the one-to-one property is just not going to be available. So what do we do on a problem like this when the bases, I know I cannot rewrite 17 as a base 2? Well, for an example like this, what I like to think about is go back to our early days of solving equations. So for instance, if I had a 2x is equal to a 17, how would I solve this problem? Well, to solve a problem like this, I would use my inverse operations, right? So if I need to undo the multiplication by 2, I need to follow the inverse operation, which is going to be dividing by 2. And then we have to use the properties of equality on both sides. So x is going to equal a 17 divided by 2. The problem here is, how do I isolate the x? Because right now the x is as a power, right? I have a base of 2 being raised to the power of x. So how do I undo this raising of x? So we have to go back and think of using that word inverses. And if you remember when I talked about in the video of graphing exponential and logarithmic expressions, we looked at the exponential function and the logarithmic function are inverses of each other. So therefore, if I want to undo this exponentiating, what I need to do is take the logarithm of that. If I take the logarithm of the exponentiating, they're going to undo each other. Just like division undoes multiplication. So you don't just want to take the logarithm of anything to undo the exponentiating. You want to take the logarithm with the same base as your exponent. So in this case, I'm going to take the log base 2, and I have to make sure I do it on both sides. So when I do that, I'm going to have an equation that looks like this. Log base 2 of 2 raised to the x equals a log base 2 of 17. Now, by understanding my rules of logarithms, I know log base 2 of 2 raised to the x is just equal to an x. And now I have a log base 2 of 17. So now it's important to understand, well, how do I solve for this? Well, the best and easiest way to do is to use a calculator. And if you don't have a calculator where you can plug in any one of your bases, then you can use what we call the change of base formula. And basically the change of base formula just allows us to do is to find the value of any logarithm no matter what the base is. And you can choose any base for your logarithms. I usually like to choose base e, so therefore I'm going to take the natural log of 17 over the natural log of 2. So all you simply do is just take your calculator, and I'm just going to take it ln of 17 and divided that by the ln of 2. And when getting that, I am now going to get approximately, because I'm going to round it to 4.0. Actually, I'll just have that equals, and I'll just truncate it. So x equals 4.08. You could round it to 4.09 if you want to, but that's going to be that in that case. So if you have the bases where you can use the one-to-one property, do it. If you don't have bases that are exact same, then you're going to have to make sure you take the log of both sides and use the change of base formula, and use the change of base formula as needed. All right, now in this example, you might see we have a problem. Well, I know I can't use the one-to-one property, right? The bases are not the same. And I know I'm gonna have to take the logarithm of both sides, but do I take the logarithm of 5 on both sides? Or do I take the logarithm base 3 on both sides? Or do I do both? And the correct answer is none of it. In this case, what I think is actually, what we're actually gonna wanna do is take the logarithm of both sides that is neither 5 nor 3. Just like I did in the previous example, I prefer to use the natural logarithm. You could use any base logarithm that you wanted to, but I think using the natural logarithm just makes sure things, I think the easiest to kind of understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the natural log of both sides. So therefore, now my equation is going to look like this. Okay, so now to understand, you might be like, well, where are you going with this? Well, we need to solve for x. And unfortunately, my x is still in my numerator. So by taking the natural log on both sides, I didn't get rid of my x as a power, right? It's still written as a power. However, I do recognize, though, that now I can use my rules of logarithms to take my power and rewrite it as a product in front of my logarithm. So now I've essentially done exactly what I've been looking for, right? If you need to solve for x and it's raising that power, you got to get it outside of that power. So if you take the logarithm of the same base, that is one way to get rid of that logarithm. But since I had that issue on both sides, if I took the natural logarithm, then I could use my rules of exponents to rewrite in front. And again, that is a rule of exponent, the power rule of logarithms that I am applying. Now, in this case, I still have my x's, but they're inside my parentheses. So if I want to get them outside of my parentheses, what I simply need to do is just apply distributive property. Okay, so now it looks like I have a lot going on here. But I think the main thing that we need to remember when we're trying to solve for x, ladies and gentlemen, is we just want to get the x's to the same side, right? So if I pretend I want my x's over to this left-hand side, what I'm simply going to do is just subtract an x ln of 3 over this way. And then I'm going to get this 3 ln of 5 over to this other side. Okay, so those are going to subtract out. Those are going to subtract out. I can't subtract these because we can't subtract logarithms with they have the different arguments. So therefore, in this on the left-hand side, I'm going to have a 2x ln of 5 minus a x ln of 3. And then over here, I'm going to have a negative ln of 3 minus a 3 ln of 5. Now I still have two x's, and I can't combine them, right? Because they have different arguments. However, one thing I can do is I can factor out that x. By factoring out that x, I'm now going to have one single x to solve for. And now, ladies and gentlemen, all I simply need to do to go ahead and solve for x is, again, use those inverse operations. Remember that? So now, since my x is being multiplied by 2 ln of 5 minus ln of 3, if I divide by 2 ln of 5 minus ln of 3, I can now isolate my logarithm. So now, this is going to take me a little bit to plug into my calculator, but the answer will come up right up. Okay, so assuming that I typed in everything correctly, my answer is going to be a negative 2.79, and I'm just going to truncate it. I'm not going to go ahead and round for this answer. All right, let's go and work on one more example that I think you really, really need to know for solving exponential equations. Okay, so now in this example, you might be like, how is this an exponential equation? It is actually, well, wait a minute. This doesn't look like anything we've been done before, right? This looks like a quadratic. Well, wait a minute. How could I maybe rethink about this as a quadratic to help me go ahead and solve? Now, there is one thing that I want you to kind of remember is that if you already have this e to the 2x, remember that e to the 2x is the same thing as e to the x squared, right? What we want to do to be able to better understand this is to let e to the x equal our variable x. So if I now rewrite this in terms of x's, it's actually going to be a quadratic equation that I'm much more comfortable being able to solve. So therefore, if I replace my e to the x with an x, I'll have a x squared minus a 4 times x plus 3 equal to 0. Now remember, when we're solving quadratic equations, the best thing we want to be able to do is to look to factoring first. And for factoring this, we want to say what two numbers multiply to give me 3, add to give me -4. Therefore, that's going to be an x minus 3 times a x minus 1 is equal to 0. Now I can apply my zero product property to solve. So I have a x minus 3 equal to 0 and a x minus 1 is equal to 0. Now I can go back and to go ahead and solve, well, I can easily solve this, right? Add 1 to both sides. So I have an x equals a 3 and a x equals 1. Now I can go back, undo my substitution, and just rewrite this as a e to the x is equal to a 3 and a e to the x is equal to a 1. So you just use substitution to apply the algebraic operation, and then go ahead and plug back your original term that you substituted in this case e to the x, back into your solution. But now we still need to go ahead and solve for this. So if I have e to the x is equal to 3, like how do I solve that? Well, again, remember you can take the log of both sides. Take the ln of both sides, ln of both sides. So therefore, the ln of e to the x is just equals x equals an ln of 3. And the ln of 3, in this case, is going to be a 1.09. And in this case, I have x equals a ln of 1. And the ln of 1 is just going to equal, of course, I should have known that, is just going to go ahead and equal a 0. So now you guys can see, in this case, we're actually going to have two solutions. Now, before we get into solving logarithmic equations, one thing I wanted just to remind you of is to make sure when you need to take the log of both sides, or if you have a property with multiple operations, make sure you undo all those operations first. You can only take the log of both sides when you have that logarithm isolated. So that's something that's really just important as like a final little tip, a little bonus for you guys to get into. But now I think it's really important to get into a quick review on logarithms where I'll reiterate that point.